Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to our Sunday lesson. Today's message is inspired by an inbox message that I received, and I pray that this is going to bless. I know it's going to bless so many of you. So if you're watching this live, or if you end up watching the replay, share it on your page because this is a pandemic of sorts. But I do believe that a lot of people will get an understanding. I think a lot of times when it comes down to gifting, many of us don't necessarily understand how we're wired. I used to be one of those people, and I'm still learning. You come better to understand how you're wired as you navigate your relationship with God, because God is light. That's what the Bible tells us. So in His presence there is revelation. That means that anytime I go in His presence, I'm going to have an encounter with revelation. Anytime I go into His presence, then I'm going to see things. I'll give you an example. I think this is a really good example. You notice I have these lights around me. I got those lights back there that I have yet to plug up. uh, I get frustrated with myself sometimes, but I have those lights around me. And when this camera comes on, there's things that I can't see, right? These lights help. These lights are a representation of revelation. So is this camera. And so when I'm looking, it's almost like looking in the mirror. I can actually see myself on my computer screen. And so what ends up happening is when the lights come on, sometimes I can tell when something is off. Maybe I didn't see it in the mirror, or sometimes I may not see it on a video until I go and, I hit the replay. And I like to watch like the beginning parts of the replays, maybe 5 minutes or what have you of my videos. And sometimes I'll look and I'll be like, oh gosh, look what I did to my eyebrow. Oh, I look twisted on there. I'm not wearing that anymore. I'm not going to do that anymore. Why? Because I had an encounter, or yeah, I had an encounter with revelation, with light. And so that's what light does, is light reveals us to ourselves. Darkness takes advantage of those areas, but light reveals. So when you're in the presence of God, when you're in the presence of God's people, there's going to be quite a deal, quite an amount of revelation. So do me a favor again, be sure to like, be sure to share. If you have not subscribed to this channel, let's go ahead and get started. I would love to welcome you to the family. I would love to welcome you to the family. Hello, everybody that has logged in. Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you for your diligence. Many of you are really, really diligent with showing up. You're hungry, and I love that. I love that. I love that. So, like I said, this message was inspired by a message that I got. So I'm going to go straight into the message. And I think that what I'm going to do is I wrote down a few notes or what have you. I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the message, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to give you understanding to the young lady or young man who wrote this. I think this is going to be a sister. But to the person, and I trust me when I tell you, every person on here is going to benefit for what I'm going to share with you tonight. Every person on here is going to benefit, is going to help you. Maybe not so much, some of you, it may not be that deep because maybe you don't have that gift, but anybody who has the gift of love, anybody, and when I say the gift of love, because I know somebody be like, ain't we commanded to learn, love our neighbors? Yes. But one thing I come to understand is that some people have certain gifts that they are given. For example, you may see that little girl just starting off. You may see a little girl or a little boy, and you see the gift of charity. That's what the gift of love is, a gift of charity in that kid. And so that kid is unlike every other kid. Most kids are selfish. Most kids are tantrum throwing, just me, flesh, 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 little bite-sized narcissists, right? They grow out of narcissism, but really that's what that is. If that personality that's in a kid is in an adult, this is what we consider narcissism. But then you'll have that one kid who is a just a little bitty bite-sized bundle of love, right? That little kid starting off as a toddler, you'll notice that the kid comes up and is hugging. The kid is always trying to give. Whereas other kids got their bag of chips that you gave them, and they crying or what have you. But you have that one kid that you give something to them and they say, thank you. And then they open the bag and they say, here. And so they give you some of their chips, and you're just like, oh, that's so cute. Oh, happy. But I'm saying that to say that's a child that has been gifted with love. That's a child that's been gifted. Hello, Brother Andre. Hello, everybody. But that's a child that's been gifted with love. That's a child that has been given the gift of charity. That's a child that you'll notice that Other kids are bullying. You'll notice that other kids are doing evil things too because that child has that gift. Unfortunately, a lot of children will bury that gift. They'll find a way to get rid of it. You can't really get rid of it, but they'll find a way to disassociate from it, to cut it because of what it attracts to them. And some of you are those kids. And I think that this is why it's so important. So I'm going to go right into this. I'm going to read the letter first, and I'll likely come back and read it again. I don't want to interrupt it with revelation. I want to make sure I read it in its entirety. To the young lady who sent it, I pray that this is not a problem. I won't reveal your email address, even though it kind of looks like it's cloaked anyhow. But I'm going to read this. And I believe that this is going to be really beneficial. Okay. Hello, I'm asking if you can pray for me or even hold a YouTube live about emotionally detaching. I'm asking for guidance from the Lord about how I can let go of my emotions. I have let go of my emotions. I have for people who treat me like an option, ghost me, disappoint me time and time again, and I continuously let them back in because of my emotions of caring too much. It eats me up how much friends, family, and would be romantic partners do not put in the 100% I put in, and it really breaks me down. I'm asking God to deliver me from that and give me the peace that surpasses all understanding. I have been reading the word and I cannot get confirmation from God that it is right to let go. Amen and thank you. Brother Andre, I love you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Now, let me say this. Looking at her email, looking at her letter, I don't know, you might not see it. It may not look like it, but I have that same gift. I have that same gift. That gift a lot of times passes through the family. It can skip generations, but it didn't skip a generation in my case. I have that gift. I got that gift from my mother. And as a kid, I hated it. As a kid, I hated it. I did everything that I could to get rid of that gift because I hated what I saw people doing to my mother. And I would enjoy the gift until some kid would do. Because anytime you come across people who are broken, toxic, narcissistic, demonized, or what have you, they will make you loathe your gift. They will make you hate your gift. And that's how I was as a kid. I would hate my gift. Anytime I came across a not so great kid that took advantage of it, and then I turn around and forgive them, I would get mad at myself. And that's what made me get mad at them a little bit, was the fact that I got mad at myself. It would make me feel like the worst person in the whole wide world. Why do I keep forgiving these people when I went home and I rehearsed in my mind that I'm done with her? How is it that I went home, I rehearsed in my mind, I thought it over, and I came to the conclusion that this girl like blatantly did me wrong. I may even have other people saying, I can't believe that girl did that to you. I can't believe this. And yet I would still turn around and see that child and be like, hey, how you doing? And I hated that. Sister Poya, I love you. Thank you, sis. God bless you. I hated that about myself. So I started trying to eradicate it. I would fuss at my mom because I would watch my mom be taken advantage of time and time again. My mom was just a sweetheart. My mom was just, if she had the voice, okay, yeah, no, I got you. No, you want, okay. And the thing about it was when people would leave, that's when my mom would communicate with us. Oh, I hate when she comes over here. I hate when she does that. I just hate, and I'm just like, as a kid, I would say to my Mom, stop letting that woman use you. Mom, stop letting that little woman walk over you. Mom, stop doing this. Mom, stop doing that. And my mom, she would be like, yeah, I know. And she would say that until people came over to our house. When people came over to our house, whenever I would stand up and try to be the backbone that she was lacking, she would get on one end, I think that she was pleased, but on the other end, she would get frustrated because I would be embarrassing her. I would be embarrassing her. I would say stuff hey, like we would have people to come over and borrow our phone. I need to use your phone. And they would just sit in the living room for hours. And I'd be like, you just sit on other people's phone. All of that kind of stuff. So anyhow, I want to read this email again. And I'm going to give you some insight to the young lady. Stay tuned. I promise you this is going to be a blessing to you guys. It's going to help you abundantly. It's going to help you to understand or give, like I said in the beginning, that a lot of you have gifts that you just do not understand. And when you don't understand those gifts, Satan understands them. And he knows how to traumatize you in that area so you no longer want the gift. This is what he does. He catches you when you're in the infancy of the gift. When your gift is immature in a certain area, he catches you during those times and he will traumatize you in that area so that you begin to despise the gift. That's what happened to me. However, God resurrected it. God gave me healing and he gave me understanding. I'm going to give it to you, but I'm going to start off again reading the letter. Hello, I'm asking if you can pray for me. Absolutely. Or even hold a YouTube live about emotionally detaching. Here's the problem that I have with this about emotionally detaching. This is what happens with gifted people. This is what happens with people who have the gift of love. Y'all do me a favor, like and share. But this is what happens with people who have the gift of charity is that a lot of times it hurts so bad that rather than drawing boundaries around ourselves, solidifying our boundaries and dealing with the repercussions of our emotions, a lot of times what we do is we try to find a way to get rid of our emotions. That's Let me tell you what that's like. Well, let me tell you what you're asking. You didn't realize this. That's like me saying, is there a way for me to unplug my alarm because thieves keep breaking in and the alarm is waking me up and I don't like it? I'd rather just sleep through it and whatever they're going to do, let them do it. I'd rather just sleep through it. So, how do I, because I've done everything and it just keeps going off. And I hate the fact that it keeps going off. It's just messing with me. So how do I unplug it? Is there some wires I can pull? What can I do? I don't want to get rid of the alarm. I want to keep it, but I just don't want it to work. Am I making sense? I want to keep the alarm, but I don't want it to work. I want to keep the alarm, but I don't want it to keep going off. I want to keep the alarm, but I don't want to deal with it startling me. I don't want to deal with it waking me up. I don't want to deal with anything. I want to stay asleep and then I'll get up and deal with the repercussions. Y'all better engage me on today. I'll get up and deal with the repercussions. So you said, how do I do a live about emotionally detaching? I can never and will never teach a human being how to emotionally detach. That is not healthy. That is not healthy. So to my beautiful sister who wrote this, and I'm assuming this is a sister, but when I say sister, I'm talking about a woman. I'm assuming that this is a woman. Um, you have to hear me when I say this. The objective is for you to create boundaries around your gift, not for you to emotionally detach. Because if you emotionally detach, the gift will be there and Satan will just pervert it. That means rather than you being a giver, you'll become a taker. Rather than you having the gift of love, you will have the disappointment, you will have the hatred and the unforgiveness. You'll become the opposite of what God gave you or what God desired you to be. Black Diamond, you are beautiful. I truly appreciate you. Thank you, sis. You will find a way. If you emotionally detach, the only thing that's going to happen to you is that now those people that are in your life, they'll be able to come and take further advantage of you and it just won't bother you no more. You'll just be numb. You know how many women do that? You know how many men do that? And it's the craziest thing. I see people like it's a flex nowadays that, you know what? I discarded him and I felt nothing. That's not normal. That's not healthy. If I'm in a relationship with you, I should feel something. I should feel something if you disappoint me. I should feel something if you hurt me. I should feel something if you ghost me. I should feel it. I should feel it. I should not be, oh, girl, another one bites the dust. I should feel it. And so, me having those feelings, those alarms, what it does, Sister Lakita, you're awesome. Thank you, sis. God bless you. What it does is it teaches me, it provokes me to say, I don't want to feel this again. This is how I got my deliverance. And when I kept saying, I don't like these feelings, they're torment. I don't want to sit there and, come home with torment. And so I learned to sit back and say, you know what? I have to be okay with letting go of people and not emotions. Now, I've asked God to take away emotions that I don't need. Sister Cassandra, you're awesome. Thank you, sis. God bless you. I've asked God to take away emotions that I don't need because emotionalism can be unhealthy. Being incredibly emotional and stuff like that. I don't want to be an emotional person. At the end of the day, I've had people to walk out of my life or what have you, And I genuinely did not feel much of anything, just a little bit of disappointment. But for the most part, it's because I saw the red flags in the beginning and I started mentally preparing myself because I can see that thing coming. I no longer deny what I see coming. I can look and acknowledge that I see this coming or what have you. So don't let me jump ahead of myself. Let me go back. I'm asking if you can pray for me or even hold a YouTube live about emotionally detaching. I'm asking for guidance from the Lord about how can I let go of my emotions I have for people who trust me, who treat me like an option, ghost me, disappoint me time and time again, and I continuously let them back in because of my emotions of caring too much. One, first thing, your emotions have to be in a container. That means you can't wear your heart on your sleeve. I don't know who needs to hear that. Your heart is not supposed to be on your sleeve. The Bible told you to guard it. So the soul is comprised of the mind, will, and emotions. The mind, biblically speaking, is the heart. Your heart is supposed to be covered by your will. Your heart should not be readily accessed. Now, your emotions are a line of defense for your heart. Your emotions, that means that if somebody says something to me and this is the outer course, if somebody says something to me that doesn't sound right or doesn't feel good, that's a warning. My emotions are saying that ain't right. My emotions are saying, and a lot of times what your heart does is your heart, if anything comes in or tries to get into your heart that you let in, your emotions will let you know this don't taste right. Your emotions will allow you to understand this don't taste right. This way, it's on the outer skirts of your heart. You can still spit it back out. So I want to challenge you to stop thinking that you need to fix your emotions. What you have to do is fix your dependency on people. You have to get delivered from that codependency that you have on people. The affirmation you feel like you need. One of the things I'm going to say this, and some of you it'll resonate with many of you, but some of you have the gift of letting go. And what I mean by that is you have to let go because you come from a really toxic family. And no amount of don't do that, no amount of please don't do that, no amount of I love you, I respect you, no amount of that will stop them from acting up because they've already made up their mind about you. And a lot of times, whenever you have that, when you have to close all those doors, when you have to close those doors on a lot of family members, a lot of people in your past, a lot of people that are in your present, it can be painful. It makes you feel like something wrong with you. But let me tell you what I've witnessed, something I can honestly say. I've seen people with the gift where they should have let go of their family and their family start killing them because they didn't let go. Their family start killing them mentally, financially, emotionally, romantically, relationally. Their family started to destroy them because they did not let go. Now, I'm not saying, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that if you got unsaved family members, you got to cut them off. I'm saying if you got people in your life, every person in your life needs to understand your boundaries. They have to understand that you can't do this and you can't do that. And if a person repeatedly violates your boundaries, then you have to set up another boundary. You have to set up another boundary. That means that, hey, I got to push you out a little bit further. I can't have you that close to me. You got to put up another boundary. Gone are the days where you think that you got to bring people, you got to walk close with people just because they're blood related. Jesus delivered you with his blood. Gone are the days where you feel like you got to let people come in and mismanage you, mistreat you, rob you of your peace just because they're related to you. Just because they're related to you. Gone are those days. Jesus, what in the world is this? Okay. That thing scared me. It was a baby water bug, I think. Is a yeah, why do I go through this? Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get back into this. Let me get my mind right. I just see something walking toward me and I'm trying to identify that joker. Like, what are you? Do you come in peace? It didn't come in peace. All right. I'm asking for guidance from the Lord about how I can let go of my emotions I have for people who treat me like an option. Don't let go of your emotions, let go of the people. Put up boundaries around the people and then be willing to go without them. If you spend your life not being able to live without people, those people will kill you. They'll kill you. You have to let go of people, even if they've done nice things for you. Even if, because whenever you have the gift of charity, gift of love, You overly appreciate things. Tell me if I'm wrong. I know I'm like that. For me, a lot of times, for me, a small act is big. See, I can sit here and I can sit here and I can give you all of my time. And you give me 5 minutes, I appreciate that 5 minutes. And so I can overvalue what you've given to me. But over the course of time, there's going to come a moment, and this is how God delivers me. This is how God deals with me. Over the course of time, I'll have that moment where maybe I need a little bit of your time. Maybe I need a little bit of affection. Maybe I need a little bit of you just, just listening to me, talking to me, or what have you. And hey, I'm busy, girl. Or you send me the voicemail. I'll typically have that wake up moment where I'll say, she always do this to me. She always do this to me. Now, before the end, I didn't pay attention to it. I wasn't noticing it. I wasn't paying attention. But in that moment, I'll say, she always does that to me. I start thinking back, like, this child sends me the voicemail all the freaking time. But when she called me, she expect me to answer her calls. And you know what? The problem is I do it. The problem is I keep doing it. And then I'll get mad at myself. I'll feel disappointed in myself. But that provokes me to set a boundary. Not only does it provoke me to set a boundary, it provokes me to have a conversation. And I'll say, hey, sis, I noticed this is one thing. And I've learned, and y'all, you got to get delivered from being afraid of telling people how you really feel. Sis, listen, I noticed that whenever I call you, and I rarely ask for anything or what have you. I'm always going to voicemail. Like I am not a priority to you. But whenever you call me, you expect to be a priority. And I'm just letting you know I'm not okay with that. And I can't keep doing that with you. And of course, people are always going to they're going to always and I didn't, I said, no, 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 no. Listen, regardless of what you can say, this conversation is not so much for you as it is for me. I'm telling you, I need to hear myself saying this to you. And I'm just telling you, so if you notice that you're going to voicemail, you'll understand why. Now, I have a grace of forgiveness. I have a grace of forgiveness. All of that fits within the grace of charity. Because I was telling the Lord, I was thinking earlier, after I saw this email, I was like, yeah, I got the grace of forgiveness, or what have you, rehearsing it in my head, like grace of forgiveness. And I started, and the Lord dealt with me. He's like, no, not a grace of forgiveness, just the grace of love. That's how it is, because love covers a multitude of sin. So even though I communicate that with that sister, she gonna do it again. She'll start off trying to do right, but because of her dishonor, because of her disrespect, because of her heart toward me, she gonna do it again. And you know what? I'm going to probably forgive her one time or forgive her twice. Then I'm going to have that moment of reminder again. After that, you know what I start doing? I'm going to make sure to put up that boundary. I'm going to solidify it. Now, I do it faster now, but that was my old system. But I'm going to solidify that boundary. I'm also going to start praying. Lord, help to deliver me. Father, put this lady in the place that you want her to be in my life, even if you mean closing the door, in Jesus' name. I'm putting up a boundary. I'm solidifying that boundary because I've come to realize that she's not going to stop. Okay, I want you to think of it this way. And you guys have probably heard me say this before, but you are like this is how I see myself. You are like an apple tree with all these sweet fruit on it, for all these sweet apples and stuff. Or let's just say you're a multi-fruit tree. Let's just say we know these don't exist, but let's just be creative and create a multi-fruit tree. You got all these different fruits. It's colorful, it's beautiful, or what have you. You're thriving and flourishing because you're gifted like that. Now I want you to imagine, Sister Brazita, you're awesome. Thank you. I love you. God bless you, sis. I want you to imagine that people are coming and they're hungry. But nobody ever taught them boundaries. Nobody ever taught them, that, hey, the stuff on that tree, it belonged to somebody. Somebody toiled for that tree. Somebody watered that tree. Nobody ever taught them the concept of, hey, go to the cashier. Let's just put a cashier there. We're gonna put a whole little thing together. Let's put a cashier there. No, if they see that the tree is readily open and there's no boundaries around it, then people are gonna make their way around the tree. They'll look at the cashier and they'll go on the back of the tree and they'll keep eating. and they'll eat and they'll get full and they'll still keep eating because of greed. And that's what I've learned is that a lot of people, and you got to hear me to the gifted folks, you got to hear me. A lot of people are in survivor's mode. And when you're dealing with people in survivor's mode, they'll eat you alive. They don't have a concept of boundaries. They don't have a concept, which is why you have to establish them and you have to communicate them and then you have to enforce them. Yeah, struggling to forgive is just a perspective. Forgiveness is just a perspective. So you just want to ask God, Lord, give me a different perspective. Help me to see this person the way you see them. I have the gift of charity, the gift of love. And that thing drove me into unforgiveness. Even though I would forgive, I would still host the unforgiveness in many cases. I would still host the hurt. I would still host the pain. And one of the ways that I started getting rid of it was I came to realize that the reason I was hosting that is because even I didn't make an adjustment once I identified that's not my friend. I didn't make an adjustment, so I still allowed this person to have access and to keep hurting me repeatedly. And so now unforgiveness was just my way of, or my soul's way of saying I've never got to the scabbing stage. Like I've been gotten to the stage where I started the healing process because every time my blood starts clotting in that area, if that makes sense, that person is still there. So I had to learn in order for me to forgive. I had to set boundaries. I also had to get rid of my expectations of people. That right. I'm giving you gold. I had to get rid of my expectations. I've learned to adjust my expectations not to what people say, not to what I want, but what I see people repeatedly do. That I'm telling you, that's another level of wisdom. Is my expectations is what I see. That's it. I don't expect anything more. So um if a person repeatedly slaps me, which of course that wouldn't happen, but if my expectation is going to be them to slap me, it's not going to be because I've been nice to them, because I've shown love, I hug them every time, that they're not going to slap me again. No, if they come walking up on me, I'm already ready, right? Because they've already shown me that. So I think a lot of times, well, I know a lot of times unforgiveness comes from the perspective, I wouldn't do that to you. How could you do that to me? But still not making the necessary adjustments, not just physically but mentally. But you have to adjust mentally to understand that, hey, this person is like this. I'm probably not going to get this from this person, especially when it comes to parents. A lot of times unforgiveness stems from our relationships with them, because we'll look back and say, how could you do that as a parent? Like, you're not supposed to love like that. Like, you're supposed to love me a little bit more than that. You're supposed to be a little bit more protective of me, but you weren't. And so a lot of times we get to from home where we get to the point where we're like, I can't believe you did that. I can't believe that. So we start having that. That's an issue of comparison. I would never do that as a parent. I would never throw my kids out there or what have you. So let me go ahead and move on from there. I love for people who treat me like an option. Stop being an option. Don't be that. You love to give. I'm going to give you some instructions. I promise you. You love to give. I'm going to show you what to do with that gift. Ghost me. I have a rule. If you ghost me, when you come back, I'm no longer there. I don't allow people to ghost me. That's one of my things. I don't allow people to ghost me in return when they want to. I just don't do it, because that's the return of the unclean spirit. So I don't allow people to come into my life, get mad at me, throw a temper tantrum, put me on punishment, and then resurface and say, especially the ones, let me tell you, the most aggravating ones, the ones that try to resurface and act like they didn't do nothing. Hey girl, what you doing? You want to go out to eat? Negro, I ain't heard from you in 2 months. You put me on straight up punishment. And now you got the nerves to try to come and ask me if you. No, people who don't take accountability, people, no, that's a narcissist. I don't fool with them type of people. I don't fool with them type of people, because at the end of the day, I appreciate what I give. I love healthy communication. I love it. It's my love language. I love healthy communication. I love talking things out. I would much rather sit up and have a hard conversation, because to me, that's beautiful. Like, if you can sit here and you can say, Tiffany, I don't like when you do that. And I'm like, well, I didn't realize that. And you give me the opportunity to defend myself. And then I can say that to you, and I know you're not going to get mad and put me on. I love that. I love that. That's what made me such an amazing wife, because I wasn't the type of person, never have been the type of person that wants to argue. Now, did I argue? Yes, but I've never been the type of person that likes to argue. I've always been the type of person that feels like, hey, let's just talk about it. Let's just talk about it. What? Because I found that most issues are a misunderstanding. Genuinely, Most issues. How do I know? Especially over the course of time. Most of the time, when people came to me and tell me this is what I felt about you, that's what I saw you doing, they were 1,000 shades of wrong. Like it wasn't even my character. It was a demonic attack against their mind. And I'm sitting there looking like, child, that's not me. Like the character you're describing, that's not how I am. Now you could have read it that way, and I can understand how you came to that conclusion because that particular day I had PMS and I probably didn't have my best face on, right? Um, I had PMS. I wasn't the happiest person that day. And then, the day, the other time you saw me, I just hadn't had a good day. So I can understand completely how you would come to that conclusion. But, in cases like that, just walk up to me and say, hey, are you okay? That's it. And I'll tell you, yeah, I'm good. I'm going through it right now, but I'm all right. I'll be good. I love communication. So I'm asking for guidance from the Lord about how I can let go of my emotions I have for people who treat me like an option, ghost me, don't let them come back, disappoint me time and time again. Stop letting them. And I continuously let them back in because of my emotions of caring too much. So you, like I said, you got to put your emotions inside of a container. That means that I can feel my emotions, but I never allow them to overspill into my will. Did you catch that? The soul is comprised of the mind, will, and emotions. I can have my emotions, I can feel my emotions, but I never allow them to overspill into my will to the point where it's got me doing stuff. The Bible says it's this way: be angry, but sin not. Like you can feel the anger, but don't move. Don't do anything about it. Pray about it, but don't do anything that is considered or constitutes as ungodly. It eats me up how much friends, family, and would be romantic partners do not put in a 100%. I put in and it breaks me down, really breaks me down. You keep expecting apples from oranges. Once you come to the determination that, okay, that right there be a dog. Okay, that I love my baby. I don't expect him to be out. Right? Let's say the day I got him from the animal shelter 8 years ago, because that little fluff ball is 8 years old. But let's say the day that I got him from the shelter, let's say that maybe that day I didn't have on any corrective lenses. I wear contact lenses. Or if I don't have contact lenses on, I have to wear glasses. Okay. And it's pretty, yeah. If I don't have these in, it's just blurry. Okay. Let's say that I thought I had a cat. Let's say I didn't wear corrective lenses when I went there and I thought I had a cat. And I'm carrying him outside the shelter and everything. And I'm like, I'm going to call you Mr. Whiskers. You're so cute. Oh, Mr. Whiskers, you're such a fluffy. Never seen a golden cat before. Not that kind of gold. I mean, I've seen calico cats. What do you call those? Orange tabbies. I've seen orange tabbies, but you a different kind of gold. You like pure gold. You like 10 karat gold. You like 24K. I'm going to call you 24K. So I'm in a car. I'm talking to a whole dog, but I think I'm talking to a cat. And maybe I don't want to be, maybe I don't like the way I look in glasses. Maybe I think that, I prefer contact lenses. So I'm playing with my cat one day. I'm playing with Mr. Whiskers, later that day. And he's, oh, that's so cute. You sound like a little puppy. Right? You sound like a little puppy. Hold up. Let me get my glasses. I wish I had a pair over here. And I got them. I put them on. And I'm like, you be's a dog. This is a dog. This is a dog. I'm not then going to still call him Mr. Whiskers unless I choose to. But I'm going to acknowledge the characteristics of a dog. That's where I get my peace. I'm going to acknowledge that's not a cat, that's a dog. So he's not going to purr. He's not going to make biscuits in my lap. He's not going to come lay on my chest. All those little things that cats are guilty of. And I'll be wearing glasses saying, okay, I get it. Because, dogs are extra clingy. Cats are independent. They want their independence. Cats are pretty much like, yo, when I want to be pet, I'll come to you. But in the meantime, in between time, leave me alone. I'm gonna be over here. I'm gonna be on this couch. I'm gonna be chilling. Don't you bring all of that stuff, or what have you. Long hours in between talking. It depends on the pattern. And especially if they only do that when you're upset. I had an old friend that used to put me on punishment every time she got upset. And the Lord had a special way of showing me that, this is witchcraft. He had a special way of showing me that, because I wasn't paying attention to what she did until, and I'll tell that story a little bit later. I don't want to, but yeah, it can't. So somebody tries to put me on punishment. That's a person I'm not going to tolerate. Like, I don't tolerate that, because that's witchcraft is in the flesh. And so a person that doesn't guard their heart can't have mine. Somebody that doesn't guard their heart can't have mine. You have to, anytime you're having relationships with people, you have to be the first line of defense toward them. If a demon is trying to attack them through you, you shouldn't be so easily used. And you should be the first line of defense. Oh, I will deal with this right here. I will deal with this spiritually. I will cast it out of my emotions. I will bind it up and all of that. You got to pray. You got to say, hey, sis. And now, first and foremost, you don't confront people with every type of demonic attack. But if it's something that you need clarity on, hey, sis, so I was thinking this. And I kind of wanted to get some clarity because I was feeling this type of way or what have you. And I just wanted to get some clarity, because, and that's it. You communicate and you'll find in a majority of the cases, and like I said, it shouldn't be that often, but in a majority of cases, what you'll find is they'll say, girl, no. Girl, no. And you're like, I didn't think so. I was praying. It was the enemy trying to attack. I love you. Okay. Do you need anything? And you can let it go. You can let it go. But when a person becomes a willing vessel of the enemy to hurt you, that is the sign that you want to close that door. Now, closing the door doesn't mean cutting them off. It means I'm not going to allow them to have intimate access to me, because I got too much to do for the kingdom. And if they're not going to say no to Satan, but instead they're going to flow with their feelings and turn toward me and become a weapon, then what I have to do is I have to guard my heart. This is instruction. God said, guard your heart, for out of it pours the issues of life. He didn't say guard your heart from strangers, but when it comes to family members and friends, you no longer, those rules go out the window. No, you have to still guard it. Sister Elizabeth, God bless you. Thank you, sis. God bless you. All right. Now, you said they do not put in the 100%. I put in. That's the problem. Can y'all, I want y'all to hear me. Sister Elizabeth, thank you. God bless you, sis. God bless you. I want you to hear me. I need you to hear me. You never put in 100% in a relationship. You put in 50%. That means I match your giving. If you put in 100%, you have to understand the human soul. You have to understand how the human is. Human beings are takers, especially the majority of people. I would say 85, 90% of people are in survivor's mode. And they'll keep taking. They'll keep on. They won't stop. Right? They'll just keep on. They'll let you do. They'll let you be a blessing, and they won't stop from one moment to say, "Let me at least pray for you. Let me at least do that for you." They won't stop. Sister Elizabeth, you're awesome. God bless you, sis. God bless you. They won't stop. So what I've learned is, because they won't stop, I have to stop them. I also learned when I have relationships, because I used to be the 100%er. I used to be that person that I'm just going, because I felt like if you genuinely saw my heart, some of y'all can resonate, you can relate, but I felt like if you genuinely saw my heart and you saw that I really had a heart for you, and that I felt like people would automatically say, well, Tiffany's a good person. Like, if I'm evil, I'll be evil to everybody else, but for Tiffany, I won't be that way because she's such a sweetheart. But I got delivered from that, just remembering that they didn't think that way about my mom. My mom was a sweetheart to the core. No matter what she did, she still dealt with family members. I'm talking. I used to sit there watch family steal from her, talk to her in the kind of way. It didn't change how she was. It didn't change how they were. It just made them realize, dang, I just did that to you. You still opening your door to me? No. Okay. So I'm saying that to say, relationships, it cannot be 100%. It has to be 50-50. Now, don't get me wrong. You give them 100%. You give God all that you are. You give them your attention. You make sure you're fully present in a relationship. But when it comes down to a relationship, you should always pay attention to what people are giving in return. If you're giving in a relationship, let's say you take your friend out to eat and she never pay. All she does is tell you about her situation. Girl. Okay. I don't know if that was a trigger. That friend that always in a hard spot, she ain't coming out. If she don't change her mind, she ain't coming out. You need to hear it. Y'all, when I'm talking, I may not be talking to the entirety. I promise you there's somebody on here that needs this. She ain't coming out of that situation because she's refusing to do something different. She's refusing to go to church. She's refusing to pray. She's refusing to stop allowing that man to do what he's doing to her. She's refusing to do that, which means her situation is going to be the same, which means the dynamic is going to remain the same. The dynamic of her taking advantage of you. And so if you don't like that dynamic, then what you're going to have to do, because she won't adjust, you have to adjust. Who am I helping? Who am I helping? Because she won't adjust, you gotta adjust. If you can't guard your heart, I have to guard mine. Either way, I'm gonna guard my heart. But if you can't guard your heart, I have to guard my heart from you. Because I'm not about to let you be an open door for the enemy. I'm like, you know how much dying I had to do? You know how much sacrifices I have to make, and that I had to make. And you think I'm gonna go through all of that where I sit up here and go and then almost no. Now, when I say give 50%, I'm not saying to withhold. I'm saying that in any given relationship, if what you're giving, you don't keep giving when you see that the person is not doing the same. You don't keep giving when you see that the person is not doing the same. Let's say you dating Tyrone and Tyrone between jobs. First and foremost, my question is gonna be: is Tyrone trying to get from between jobs and get in a job? If I don't see that, if Tyrone's sitting at home with the video game, doing this right here, he ain't trying. The situation not gonna change. So I'm not gonna keep on paying for lunch. I'm not gonna keep going out to lunch with Tyrone and saying, um, let me get the chicken Alfredo. And can you give me a Caesar salad? No, I take that back. I don't even like Caesar salad. Can you give me a garden salad with Thousand Island? All that. Tyrone, what would you like? Uh, let me get your lobster, your steak medium rare. Let me get let me get a Caesar salad with croutons. Um, oh yeah, I want dessert. Cause you know what? People will spend the heck out of your money. Listen, people will spend the heck out of your money. You're sitting there, you over there, you didn't order chicken Alfredo. The salad came with it. Dude wants steak. Y'all know I told this story. I had a young lady I started ministering to, mentoring at one point. And this is some years ago when I first moved to Georgia. And we had that one particular day where that girl showed me her her colors. Baby, things changed after that because she was at my house and I wanted to go get me something to eat. And being as it was that I lived in Conyers at the time, I decided I wanted to go to Chili's. Okay, it was my favorite restaurant. I wanted to go to Chili's. I wanted to sit in. I'm an atmosphere person. I love good atmospheres. And the Chili, I'm not gonna say it had the best atmosphere, but it was kind of, it was a vibe for me. But I wanted to go to Chili's. And I know some of y'all are a little bit more bougie. You're like, ew, forgive it's me. Okay. I was in that income bracket. But Chili's, I would go to Chili's. And don't get me wrong, I still go to Chili's, but the young lady at my house, and I said I was going out to eat or something. She said, I asked her if she wanted to come. She said she didn't have any money. I was like, are you hungry? She was like, yeah. So I'm like, hey, you can come with me. I got you. That's the nature of the giver, right? That's the nature of the giver. I got you. Because we get our rocks off by giving. That you can't tell me no different. You can't tell me no different. We get our rocks off by giving. But you know what? We feel crappy if the person is not deserving. If the person acts entitled or what have you. Entitlement is kind of Sister Tamara, thank you. God bless you. I'm just now seeing it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. But when it comes down to Chili's, sorry, I got a text message. You kind of threw me off. But when it comes down to it, a person is not going to put the boundary up. So anyhow, I take this girl to Chili's. You know that we, like I said, we get our rocks off by giving. So I'm like, girl, I got you. I got you. And for the giver, most of us, tell me if I'm wrong, when we come across other givers, we love the heck out of each other. Because I told you I had that friend, and I don't. Me and this lady talk maybe once a year, once every 2 years now. We don't talk that often, but I still consider her a good friend. I love that woman. Oh, I love me some her. I love me some her because she was the first person after many years that we competed on blessing each other. It was a competition, and we at a restaurant. I'm like, I got the tab. She like, I got it. I'm like, I got it. And we got to the point where we were eating out so much that every time it became a game. When the waiter came around, she had her card. She just like, get it and run, get it and run. And I would do the same thing. I'm like, I come up in there and I tell the waiter, I say, hey, look, give me the tab, okay? Because she's gonna try to take it, but give me the tab. Just I give you an extra tip. I'm gonna give a tip anyhow, but I'm gonna get. And the beautiful thing for the giver, we love the heck out of that. Because for the giver, we are love bugs. We just want to know you're loved in return. That's all. Well, you ain't got to give me a car, a house, and none of that stuff. Most of the time, givers, we just want to know that you love us in return. That this ain't a one-sided relationship. We appreciate the heck out of people because most of the relationships we find ourselves in are one-sided. Because when you're a giver, you got the grace to give, but other people don't have that grace of love. They don't have that grace. So I tell the girl, I'm like, come on, I got you. I got you. And we get to Chili's and they have the new wings, and they're old now, but they were new at the time, where they had these bacon covered wings, like bacon bits on wings or something like that. So we get in there, we're doing a 2 for 20 or 2 for 25 or something like that. And it comes with an appetizer, right? No, yeah, it comes with an appetizer, or what have you. So I'm like, yeah, we'll do the two for. She was like, yeah, we could do the 2 for 25. I'm like, cool, cool, cool. And it already comes with an appetizer. I typically not going to eat the appetizer because I'll get full. And I don't like getting full before I get the food out. I am a person that I want to appreciate the heck out of the main course. That's just me. You can have the appetizer. It's on you. You can just have your jolly old time, right? Or what have you. Unless we get something like cheese sticks, mozzarella, I probably eat one or two. But for the most part, I'm just not going to enjoy the appetizer. So I'm like, hey, that's on you. You can get the appetizer. You can choose it. She chooses the appetizer. It's something that she want, ain't what I want. I don't care. She sits back and she's looking at those new wings. She was like, oh man, I want those wings. They look so good. I want those wings. I was like, you can get, we don't have to do the 2 for 25. Nah, and I want to get that, but those wings look so good. They look so good. And I'm sitting there looking like, she was like, she asked the waitress, she says, can I get this to substitute the appetizer for this? And they were like, no, you can't use that as an appetizer. She was like, oh man. And I didn't say anything. And then finally she was like, she looked at me. She was like, uh, can I get the wings too? Them wings been $16. If I'm thinking right away, the 10 or 16. I don't care. Either way, that's out of order. I told her yeah. But my yes comes with a price. I told her yeah. I never took her out to eat again. Because I'm like, you don't do that on somebody else's money. You don't. My apostle does a teaching on that, and he did a teaching on that. I think it was called table manners. But he was talking about like if you go to the table with a dignitary, somebody paying or what have you, always let them order first, and you never order beyond what they ordered. If they paying $5 for their meal, you better get yourself a soup and a salad. You better get five. You spend $5. Don't sit up there. Don't have that broke man's mentality of shoot. I'm about to. You paying? Hmm. Uh, Let me get that. Then after it's all over with, are we getting dessert too? I was like, yeah, I always get dessert. And obviously she couldn't eat that stuff. I don't even think she ate one wing. Maybe she ate one. And then she was like, I'm gonna take this home. And she said, for her husband or what have you. Can I tell y'all something? And I hope this doesn't sound crazy. I hope this doesn't sound rude or anything like that, but I need you to hear me when I say this. When you got a set of testicles sitting at home, I'm a single woman. When you got two income home, a set of testicles sitting in your house, don't ask me for nothing. Don't. If you and your husband on hard times, I get it. If I'm out to eat with you, I'll feed you. But I'm not trying to. Don't. I didn't go out to eat with her anymore. Because right then and there, she disrespected that moment. Now, maybe nobody ever taught her, but she disrespected that moment. If I had to go back and do it again, I would have still did it again, but I would have communicated with her. I should have said no. I should have said, you never disrespect a moment like this. Here it is, you're gleaning from me, all of that. Normally people will say, let me pay for your tab, which is fine. But no, instead, you're gleaning on both directions. At what point does it become beneficial to me to entertain you? At what point does it become beneficial to me to entertain you? Because you're the one extracting all of the benefits. Anytime you come into a relationship, make it mutual, make it beneficial. And you do that by not trying to even it out. You do that by trying to out bless the other person. You do that. I will try to bless your socks off. I will bless you right out of my life. You have no idea. I will bless your socks off. I will tell you I love you. I'm going to tell you all that. But if you say thank you and you never say I love you back, you're going to get one last I love you. Okay. I'm asking God to deliver me from that and give me the peace that surpasses all understanding. Faith without works is dead. You're going to have to step into it. That you're going to have to be okay with communicating with people and telling them, this is not okay. Don't do this with me. I'm no longer tolerating that. But I will get into it. I have been reading the word, and I cannot get confirmation. This is going to be your confirmation from God that it's right to let go. Yes, let go. Let go. In order for God to bless you with better, you have to be willing to let go of worse. In order for God to bless you with better, you have to be willing to let go of people. And you can't be bound by people pleasing. You can't be bound by I don't want to offend them. You can't be bound by that. You have to sit back and allow people to walk away. You got to put. You know what I started when I started putting up boundaries when I was 15. I tell people all the time. That's when I had my awakening. That's when I had my moment. Now there was no deep policy, no deep doctrine or anything. It just literally happened. When I was 15 years old, I literally had a moment, and it was a moment of, it wasn't even a moment of breaking. I just kind of started growing up. And when I was 15 years old, I cut off the family members. I cut them off at 15. I got tired of getting into physical fights. I got tired of gossip. He say, she say. I got tired of all of the theft. I got tired of all of the toxicity. I got tired of the perversion in my family. I just got tired of all of that crap. And everybody who just always managed to get, because my family is filled. Um, and I'm talking about my mom's side of the family, filled with folks they good at getting close to you. I'm talking about they skilled at getting close to you. They skill when they have a conversation with you. It's like they have this grace to make you open up, and you'll find yourself just opening up, and baby, tomorrow your stuff gonna be in the streets. Your stuff gonna be straight in the streets, or what have you. And I got tired of that. I got tired of dealing with mess, getting phone calls, seeing relatives saying, "Okay, such and such told me this about you." And I know they said it because I said that to them. I got tired of that stuff. At the age of 15, I started cutting them jokers off. I started closing doors. I started choosing my own family. At 15, I started choosing my own family. I started realizing that, you know what, family ain't about blood. It ain't about blood. I started choosing my own family. All right. So I'm gonna give you some instructions. I'm gonna give you some instructions, and I believe this is gonna help y'all. Trust me when I tell you these instructions are gonna help you. Before I go into these instructions, I'm gonna tell you, get my book of boundaries. It will bless the series of boundaries. Don't get one. Because some of y'all got a problem with that. You got a problem with getting one book and then you be like, I ain't gonna get the rest. Get all five. Get them in increments, right? But get all five because there's revelation in every book. The book series is designed to help you to set boundaries. The book series is designed to help you set boundaries. I'm seeing if we have a moderator. Yeah, we do. Sister E put the links up to the book of boundaries. But get the book of boundaries series, and I'm going to tell you the order they come in, so you'll know. I have to go back on Amazon and do all the listings again, so people know this is book one, big two. But the black book of boundaries is the first one. The green book of boundaries is the second one. The blue book of boundaries is the third one. The purple book of boundaries is the fourth one. And the fifth book of boundaries is the red one. They will bless your whole wide life. They will bless your whole wide life. They will change your life. It will tell you my journey with boundaries, how I set them, the different types of boundaries, how to respond to the different traumas. It is a very thorough book on boundaries, probably one of the most thorough books on boundaries you'll ever read. Get that series. Um, the, Almost done with the black one. Love it, love it, love it. I'm gonna see. I'll just list the colors and the order. Black, green, blue, purple, red. That's the order. I just listed them. All right, I'm going to give you guys some instructions. I'm going to give you a set of instructions. I believe this is going to help you. For those of you who feel like, hey, I don't know how to set boundaries, get that book, because this right here, this lesson is going to get your appetite wet for it. It's going to be, hey, this is confirmation for me, all of that. Also, let me stop here. Let me read this because I got the scripture pulled up. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. This is for those of you who have that gift. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity. This is love. Other translations say love. But charity is the gift of love. It is a gift of love that compels you to give. It's a gift of love. And it's the gift of love that is behind forgiveness. It's the gift of love that's behind, in many cases, tolerance. It's the gift of love. Though I speak with tongues of men and angels and have not charity, I become as a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and I have charity, it profited me nothing. Charity suffereth long. This is where I wanted to get to, because it's giving you the characteristics of love. Charity suffereth long. This is what you're describing in your letter. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. When you have the gift of charity, you don't wrestle with jealousy. I don't know how many people I've had to argue with to tell them I don't wrestle with that. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself. It is not puffed up. It doesn't lift itself up. Does not behave itself unseemly. Seeketh not her own. With that we're selfless. Is not easily provoked. Thinketh no evil. Rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoices in truth. Beareth all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth. Tell me, did I just describe, or the Bible just describe your gift? The Bible tells you who you are. Tell me that this did not just describe your gift. I'm going to read it again, starting at verse 4. I'm going to read it again, starting at verse 4. Charity suffereth long. This is why you deal with that endurance. And a lot of times we don't like it. Why do I keep letting them come back? Why do I keep letting them do this to me? Why do I keep, why? This is the gift of charity. Charity suffereth long, is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself and is not puffed up. We don't lift ourselves up. We don't deal with envy. When you have that gift of charity, and it's not just a gift, you got to get that in you. For those of you, because I don't want you to think that, well, I don't have the gift, so I ain't got to be that way. No, you're supposed to ask for that. Lord, give me your heart, give me your mind. But this is telling us that charity, it envieth not. And when I read that, I'm like, I always told people that's not a struggle of mine. I don't envy people. I don't look at people and be like, you look pretty. I don't do that. I be like, girl, you look good. Turn around. Oh, what have you? Because I have that gift. It vaunted not itself. It means it doesn't exalt itself. It's not puffed up. It doesn't exalt itself. Most of the time, you have the gift of charity. You are humble. You will humble yourself to the point where you will let people go for it. Girl, go have it. Have at it. Girl, I'm talking about go have at it. Do what you got to do. At the end of the day, because you're secure within yourself, does not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not our own. You're selfless. You're selfless. Is not easily provoked. Thinketh no evil. Rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth. Beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth. Now, I had some scriptures to pull it up that I wanted to read to you guys, but I'm going to spare you because there's a lot of reading. So I'll just give you Judges 14 and Judges 16. I'll say read that in your spare time. This is a person that had that particular gift. When it's perverted, it can lead to promiscuity. When it's perverted, it can lead to it can lead to you tolerating Jezebel. When it's perverted, it can lead to you enticing people who have the Delilah spirit and then entertaining them and then still being hopeful. So in Judges 14, we see Samson. Samson has this gift. He meets this woman in Timnah, and one of the Philistinian women, what have you, and he falls in love with her. And he says to his dad and his parent, he said, "Hey, he said, I have seen a woman in Timnah of the daughters of the Philistines. Now, therefore, get her for me to wife." Then his father and his mother said unto him, "Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines?" And Samson said unto his father, "Get her for me, for she pleaseth me well." But his father and his mother knew not that it was of the Lord. This is his gift. This is his gift. God gave him this gift, but God was using that gift so that he can have an occasion against the Philistines. He has this gift, right? But one thing about a gift is it has to be secure with boundaries. It has to be secure. All right. When we move over to Judges 16, first, I'm going to read this part because we all know about Delilah, but a lot of people escape this part. Judges 16:1. Then went Samson to Gaza and saw there an harlot and went in unto her. Bro man had issues. And it was told to the Gazites saying, "Samson has come hither." He had an issue with women. Then when we get to verse 4, he gets with Delilah. He falls in love with another uncircumcised, but unsaved woman. He falls in love with a woman that's not Jewish, that's not an Israelite. This was a rule. He falls in love. He had a gift, but his gift was perverted. His gift had been perverted. And so now he sits back. He finds himself in his relationship with Delilah, because people who have the gift of charity typically deal like that. You'll be in a relationship and you can clearly see that person doesn't love you. You can clearly see that person is taking advantage of you, but you keep on living in hope. I'm talking to somebody. You keep on living in hope. He gonna change. He'll love me at some point. He's just going through a hard time. Baby girl, that man been going through a hard time for the last 3 years. When does he stop going through a hard time? When are you going to accept that that's who he chooses to be? He ends up, Delilah gets paid money to find out this man's weakness. She know that they want to kill him. She know that they want to hurt this man. She don't care nothing about him. She sit up there and she starts manipulating him. Now, anybody with common sense, if you read that story, you would have been like, hey, dude, wake up. Like, at what point? Because I would have been starting like, why you keep asking me for my strength, like the secret of my strength? What? I'm not trying to sound paranoid or what have you, but I'm just really okay. So let's just make this deal. Don't ask me that question again, because I'm not gonna tell you, because it's weird to me, and I know your origin. I've already dealt with this with another female, so listen, don't play that with me, okay? I'm asking you. You don't love me. You say what you want to say. Let me tell you how I am, and I don't want to say hardcore, but the way that I am, I will let you cry and I'll walk away. You throw your temper tantrum all day long. If I know you demonize, if I know that you're being used by the enemy, I really don't care how you feel, because I know your emotions are nothing but a show. It's a demonic show. See, when you're wired for deliverance, you can't be emotional. You can't be like, oh my God, God gives you love. You will feel love, and love is not an emotion, but you will feel love for his people. That's what, and when you're in the ministry of deliverance, you feel this overwhelming love, but you cannot be emotional. If you was, demons will play you. They will play you like a fiddle, because demons toss people around, have them crying up in a fetal position. You can't, I don't have time to get in my feelings and be like, baby, sit up, let me hug you. No, that's a demon. Out. That's it. I don't care nothing about all of these fanatics going on. Out. But you know what? When I come out of that grace, or not necessarily out of that grace because you have the grace, when I'm not doing deliverance, I'm still doing deliverance. And that means that in many cases, I'm still sitting there. If you are having an emotional temper tantrum because I put up a boundary, you will sit on the other side of that boundary and throw your temper tantrum. And I ain't going to feel done. I'm going to eat my food and I'm going to keep it going. Why? You're going to have healthy communication with me. I don't do all that crazy stuff. All right. I thought for a second that I had already started reading this list, but I didn't. I thought for a second, and bro, man, I think I'm doing the benediction. You're already making this petition. All right, number 1, set boundaries. Set boundaries. Look at every area of your life where you've experienced being taken advantage of and establish boundaries in those areas. So that's inventory. You have to take a moment out and look at this is what they do in stores, right? You have to treat yourself like that. But you have to take inventory. You have to take a moment to stop and say, where am I dealing with profit loss? Where am I dealing with, being taken advantage of? And you have to sit there and you have to write it down. I'm always giving away clothes to this auntie. And I don't hear from her until she wants something. I'm always, and you have to sit there and take inventory of those areas. And after taking inventory, set boundaries. So write them down, but rehearse them here too. Rehearse them here too. And you look at yourself and say, I won't do that anymore. At the end of the day, she got a whole man, she got a whole set of testicles at the house that's supposed to be doing for her. I don't mind being a blessing, but this woman don't care nothing about me. You gotta learn to tell yourself the hard truth. This is how you get delivered. You got to stop gaslighting yourself. When you stop gaslighting yourself, people can't gaslight you. Oh, she was just going through a hard time. No, if she ain't never came out of it, she ain't going through a hard time. That's just where she lives. Number 2, communicate your boundaries. You'll find these instructions in the book of boundaries. I'm telling you, get the whole series. Communicate your boundaries. Hey, auntie, I noticed that I don't hear from you. Sister Renee, awesome. Thank you, sis. God bless you. You're awesome. I don't hear from you until you want something. And I don't like that feeling. Now, don't rehearse. And this is to my ladies, to my sisters. Don't rehearse a long speech because you won't get through with it. Don't rehearse. What you do is rehearse it in your mind and you take out the important parts. You got to edit it. You got to take out the important parts. Hey, this isn't okay. Don't do that to me. I appreciate you. I hope you understand. Wasn't trying to be offensive. What you talk? Don't raise your voice. That's one of my boundaries. You, baby. I don't know if y'all know that about this technology called a hang up button, but that's one thing I don't. That's a boundary of mine. You can't yell at me. You can't yell at me because I'm not gonna yell at you. You can't call me out of my name. I'm not gonna call you out of your name. We gonna talk about it. But if you like, because right then we get into this is a place of no reasoning. I'm no longer talking to the person. The person is manifesting, right? And the person is in agreement with that spirit. Send me a text message. I may read the first line. In some cases, most time I don't. I'm going to delete the text message because it's designed to provoke. It's a rule of mine. It's been blessing my whole life. Whenever that auntie tried me again, hey, I just want to call and apologize. I'm sorry that you felt like not see me doing this again. You said I felt like. I'm telling you, this is a real thing. You have an issue with that. You have to acknowledge that. If you're not willing to acknowledge that, then I'm not going to be able to have a relationship with you or the relationship that we used to have. I'm still here for you and I love you and I respect you. But at the end of the day, you can't keep doing that with me. I'm not going to allow you to do that with me. Well, you can say what you want to say. Okay, I'll tell you what, when you're ready to have a right conversation, give me a call. In the meantime, I got things to do. Talk to you later. And I'm not going to wait for her to say, girl, I'm not waiting for nothing else. Talk to you later. When I tell you, that's how boundaries look. See, some of you're too afraid to do that because it seemed too hard. It seemed like you're being cruel. That's one thing I learned. I had to stop thinking that me communicating boundaries with people that I love. Because if I communicate boundaries with you, it's because I want to keep you around. I had to stop thinking that was me being mean. No, me being mean is me not saying nothing. Because tell me if I'm wrong. I'm talking to people that got this gift. If I don't say anything, I'm going to get rid of you. Because I don't like the way I feel. I will ghost you and you won't know why. And I'm not talking about ghost you to put you on a punishment and come back. No, I'm done with you. I had to learn to stop doing it. That wasn't healthy. So I had to learn to start communicating. I had to learn to start communicating. Because what I used to do is I'll communicate and I'll make it clear, let the person gaslight or what have you. And then I'll let them keep doing it until I got tired of them and I'll just get rid of them. Oh, I had it good. I just get rid of them. And I would ghost them and I get these long text messages. I can't believe after all these years you got rid of me and you won't even answer my calls. You won't talk to me and all that. I was good and skilled at that, but I wasn't skilled at having a conversation. I had to get skilled at communicating because some people that care about you, a lot of times they don't realize they're doing something that hurts you. They don't realize it. And they'll say, hey, I apologize. I never meant to make you feel that way. I'll make the necessary adjustments. Okay. And you're like, yeah, that's fine. Look, none of us are perfect. And if there's something that I'm doing that you don't like, let me know. Because I really respect you and I love you and I really want you to be around. Because most of us don't build relationships for temporary. I'm not interested in temporary relationships. While I understand relationships, a lot of times are seasonal, I'm more interested in lifelong relationships than seasonal ones. I appreciate the seasonal ones because sometimes God does send people into your life that are seasonal. I appreciate it. They have an assignment or what have you. But one thing I've learned about seasonal relationships, if you treat them right, that even though they are for a season or that level of intimacy is for a season, a lot of times they become lifelong. And when I say lifelong, that means that even though that person may not be walking close with me anymore, we still good. We still cool. We still cool. She coming to town. She like, what you doing? I'm like, girl, nothing. What you doing? I'm gonna be in town on Friday, or I'm in town. You want to go get something to eat? Sure. Catch up. I'm saying that to say seasonal doesn't mean that we have to discard each other. Seasonal means that they're gonna walk close with me for a season. And while most of the time we don't know that it's for a season, over the course of time, we will respectfully kind of go our own separate ways. She'll get busy, I'll get busy, yet and still, we still cool. How many of you can say you got relationships like that? We still cool. When we talk, it could be 2 years later, and we still talk like girl, what you been up to? Oh, I saw online you got yourself a new man. Come on, girl, you look good. You look good. Okay, okay, I'm proud of you. All right, communicate your boundaries. Y'all got to stop being afraid to communicate your boundaries with people. Communicating your boundaries is showing them that you care about them. If I communicate boundaries with you, it's because I care and I want to keep you around. If I don't communicate boundaries, it's because I really don't care. If I communicate and say, hey, that hurts me, if I communicate and say, hey, that bothers me, if I communicate and say, hey, don't do that, now don't for if you were part of my life, if you know me personally, and what have you, say, well, you've never communicated about it. It's probably because you never violated any. I'm not a difficult person to get along with. But I'm saying if you start doing things, I'm one of those people. Most of the time, if you do something, it has to be blatant, just blatant disrespect. Other things, I'm a really graceful person. I just really don't overthink everything. I'm not one of those people that just overthink that. Maybe you were staring at me. No, you just had a cockeyed moment. You were just in your daydreams. People get cockeyed when they daydream. It is what it is. And I saw you sitting up there. I'm not reading into that. I'm not reading into that. I'm probably more likely to make a joke about it. Girl, you look like you got gas. Or what have you. Number four. Number four. Close doors that creak. That means make a lot of noise. Closed doors. That means that if I sit back, and this is something I learned a long time ago, people that care about you want feedback. They want feedback. They want to know that hurt you. They want to know that offended you, that scares you. They want to know. Now, that doesn't mean that you're right because I appreciate a person telling me, Tiffany, that's trauma. You shouldn't be like that. I appreciate that. I love healthy communication. But if I'm sitting there and I'm saying, like I had this old friend, I used to have that problem with that child. Me, this child would bump heads like genuinely. I feel like I've had a few friends like that. Pride. We would bump heads like two gazelles. Just, and I'm talking about coming from different directions at high speed. That's how our friendship looked. Boosh, boosh. And then one of us got laid out because we were both equally stubborn. But I've learned that if I'm communicating that something is hurtful, I don't see what you're talking about, girl. It wasn't even that deep. That door creaking. That person is saying, I really don't care about how you feel. Now, they could be right. You could be wrong in your assessment. But a person that cares is going to take the time out to hear you and to say, hey, I hear your complaint. I hear your grievance and all of that. I apologize. But sis, don't you think that you're taking it a little too far? That's fine. That's good. That's healthy communication. Because, sis, I think that, when it comes down to you have a tendency to overthink. Am I right? Yeah. Okay. So I think that in this moment, Sister Sakaya, you're awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you, sis. But in this moment, I think, and I hear the Lord saying that I speak a 700-fold blessing over you, sis, in Jesus' name. I felt the Lord placing that on my heart. But in that moment, you're sitting there and you're like, And listen, I lost my train of thought. I'm coming back to you. I'm coming back to it. But when it comes down to it, and it's not you, sis, it's just me. I have those moments. I have those moments. Y'all know that. All right, closed doors that quick. So in that moment, if I'm communicating, if that person communicates back to me that an issue of mine, I appreciate that. If they're not doing it argumentatively, we have a real conversation. Y'all conversate, those type of conversations make you closer. They genuinely do. They make you closer because there is nothing like knowing that a person cares about you after a grievance. There's nothing like it. After you have a grievance with a person, there's always that fear. There's always that fear that they're going to punish you. There's always that fear that they're going to discard you. There's always that fear. There is nothing like having a conversation with a person where you say, hey, I don't agree with this or I don't like this. And the person says, hey, you know what? I'm sorry, or I don't, Tiffany, I don't agree. I understand. And Tiffany, I care about you. And this is what I'm thinking. And this is an issue. And you have to stop this. And I'm like, yeah, but I ain't see it that way. Those conversations make you closer because you walk away from it knowing that this person took time out. They didn't get in their feelings. They could have did anything and they took the time out to communicate with you and to say to you, hey, that's not what it was. That's not, I understand how you got to that place. And this is something I want you to work on because I didn't notice this or what have you. And I'm not saying that you do that every time somebody tell you what's wrong with you. You don't sit back and try to tell them what's wrong with them. But I'm saying having an open conversation is a beautiful thing. We're still on number 2. So, well, no, yeah, you're right. I didn't go to number 3. Okay, you're right. So we are number 4. So we're going to write that one as number 3. Communicate your boundaries. Communicate your boundaries was number 2. Close doors that creep. That means that if a person doesn't respect how I feel, I will not communicate with them. I'm not going to give you don't have free access to my life just because you don't have free access. Sister Rhonda, you're awesome. Thank you, sis. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you, sis. You don't have free access to my life. Just because you have tenure with me, you can be with me, be a friend of mine for 15 years. If you ever get to the place where you don't respect me, that's a sign that the season has changed. It's a shift. Doesn't mean I got to get rid of you, but it means that you can't walk that close to me. See, it's spiritual. The war is not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities and rulers of this dark world and spiritual wickedness in high places. You can have friendships with people and not get along in certain seasons, and that's fine because y'all are not agreeing. But one of the things that keeps a friendship together is respect. It's respect. I don't have to agree with everything. You don't have to agree with everything, but I should not abuse you because I don't agree. We can talk about it. Those are the strongest friendships, and when you can sit there and have a discussion. I don't understand, Tiffany. You said this and I don't get it. Okay, well, let me explain it to you. This is what I've had friendships with people and we still don't agree in certain areas. We just have to agree to disagree. That's respect. But my thing is, don't put me on punishment. Don't put me on punishment. Sister Woodleen, God bless you. Thank you, sis. I appreciate you. Love, love, love you. Don't put me on punishment because the moment you put me on punishment, I no longer trust you. The moment you sit back and say, I'm not going to communicate with you because you made me mad because you didn't do what I want. I hate the spirit of control. I don't think people understand how much I hate the spirit of control, but that's my wiring. I hate the spirit of control. From that moment on, I don't trust you to walk close with you. I don't trust you. Now, if I have a grace moment and I give you back that space and you do it again, when I tell you I'm done, I genuinely mean it. Not that I don't care. It's just because I don't want demons walking close with me. I cast them out. I don't befriend them. All right. So we're gonna this number 3 should have been practice your boundaries. We'll make that number 4. Practice them. Practice them. Start out small. You rehearse it in your mind. Start practicing. In your family. Start practicing. This is how you get stronger. You have to practice them. So it's just like bench pressing. Eventually, whenever I do go back into the gym, I can't go up in there and go straight to a 100-pound dumbbell. I'm not there. I'm not gonna try to be there. Or what have you. Then I don't want to be ripped. I mean, I don't mind being ripped, but not like a dude. I don't want to be one of those women that. But I'm saying that I would have to start small and work my way up. So that's the same thing when it comes to setting boundaries. Some people can start kind of big. That's fine because they got a big enough personality and they really don't feel like they have nothing to lose, right? But some people have to start small. Some people have to start small because of trauma. They get trauma from, they come out. If you come out in my level, trying to go from my level, you may go home overthinking it. I genuinely don't think nothing about it. I'm going to sit back and say, hey, that wasn't cool. Don't do that. Or what have you. I'm not going to think nothing else about it. Meaning, I'm not going to bring it home. I'm not going to be tormented by it. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to go to bed. It's not to say I don't care. It is to say that I make it a point not to put my emotional, make an emotional investment in a person that doesn't care about me. Does that make sense? You can care about somebody and not allow them to have access to your emotions. That means that you have just enough access for me to say, don't do that or what have you. But I'm not gonna go home and be tormented and cry and rock back and forth in the shower. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not sitting in nobody's corner, I ain't sliding down no door. I'm gonna communicate my boundaries with you and let you know how I feel. And then I'm gonna listen for your feedback and see if we can come to a conclusion. And maybe, but if the person doesn't care about my feelings, I'm not going to allow them to have access to my emotions. They're not going to emotionally move me. Okay, that was number 3. Practice your boundaries. You have to practice it. It's okay to overthink, but it's not okay to overthink, if that makes sense. So it's okay that you have an active imagination. Use it for the kingdom. I have an active imagination. Spiritually speaking, you could probably say I have ADHD, but I'm a repeat. I'm always building, creating. I'm always moving. Right. I'm always doing something. My mind is always doing this right here, which is what makes it hard for me to sleep sometimes. But my mind is always or what have you. I don't use that gift or my wiring for people to overthink what they're doing. I make an assessment. I'll break it down in my mind. I'll even talk about it out loud. When I say out loud, I'm not talking about to other people in my house. I'll be like, that girl thinks she's gonna get up on somebody. How she? No, she. I don't know who told her that she was gonna take advantage of me. But the devil is a cockeyed 3-feathered lie. I'm just not gonna do it. I will sit there and rehearse that, but for the most part, I'm not gonna overthink. I'm not gonna overthink. I use my overthinking in other areas. I use it in other areas. Now, it's not to say I haven't done it. It's not to say I can't do it. I can. But if I find myself overthinking something, then I'm going to pull out. I got to come to a conclusion because I don't like that thing. It's tormenting for me. All right. Number 4 was closed doors. So quick. Number 5, deal with your codependency issues in therapy. I'm not going to stay there because that's self-explanatory. Deal with your codependency issues in therapy. If you are a codependent, if you haven't learned to be independent, if you haven't learned to be interdependent, deal with your codependency issues in therapy. You got to stop thinking that you need people for love, that you need people for affirmation, that you need people. You got to stop thinking that. You got to learn to enjoy your own company. You got to learn to enjoy your own company, which is one of the reasons why God started having me doing daddy-daughter dates with the Lord. I haven't done them in a while. I always have my students doing them. I think it's time for my students to do them again. But daddy-daughter dates with the Lord, where we just go out, sit in a restaurant, get dressed up, and just spend time with God. You got to learn how to spend time with yourself and enjoy that. Because some people hate their own company. They can't stand it. And they want somebody that loves their company, right? And those are the people that be calling you all the time. What you doing? Living, trying to breathe, trying to have an atmosphere where I don't have to smell you all the time. Do you understand? I do not want to see your 2 eyes or your teeth today. I saw you yesterday and day before yesterday. Do you not have a life? That person hates their own company. You don't have anything that you want to do. Girl, I'm an extrovert. No, that ain't extrovert, y'all. Ain't extroversion. I'm an introvert, but at the end of the day, I still love people. But I don't want to see you every day unless I'm married to you. That's a different thing. I don't want to see you every day if I'm not married to you. I don't have kids. That's the thing. I pray about that because I don't know. I'm scared I might not want to see my kids every day. I mean, plenty of mothers tell me differently, but yeah. Call your mom and see if she want to keep him for a week. I may not be that way, but I'm just joking. But still, I might not be joking at the same time. All right. Deal with your codependency issues in therapy. Deal with your codependency issues in therapy. Get yourself a therapist. Number 6, fill your needs in the areas that you feel empty in. Fill your needs in the areas that you feel empty in. So if you feel empty financially, go to college, start a business, go and fix yourself in that area. If you feel like I just feel so alone, Listen, first learn to enjoy your own company. First spend time with God. That's gonna force you to spend time just with you and Him. Spend every day, cut out time for yourself and God. Not that 5 minutes. Listen, but not that 5 minutes, but you spend time with you and God. Spend time with yourself. Date yourself. But then make it a point that you sit back and say, well, let me go and join some groups. Let me become a part of something. Let me become a part of something. And then you can deal with that as well. But you don't want it to be a codependency. You don't want it to be a dependency or a codependency, because that sets you up to be have unrealistic expectations and be very demanding of people. So fill your needs in the areas that you feel empty in. Fill your needs in the areas that you feel empty in. Okay. Number 7, start spending quality time with God and yourself. I just talked about that, so I won't stay there. Start spending quality time with God and yourself. Number 8, repeatedly acknowledge to yourself the roles that each person plays in your life. Stop gaslighting yourself. If I see a person that's not a friend, I will rehearse it. That is not my friend. That's my sister in Christ. That's not my friend. I will tell myself that that is not my friend. And the thing is, I don't even communicate that to her. Girl, you ain't friend. You ain't showed yourself friendly. You have not shown yourself to be a friend. You my sister in Christ. I got your back. It's kind of like a friendship, but I don't think you're mature enough to host a friendship. What you talking about? You really want to have that conversation? You don't want to just leave it right there? Because no, okay. You do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. But I'm still, sis, I appreciate you. I love you, but we're not friends. Number 8 was repeatedly acknowledge to yourself the roles that each person plays in your life. Stop telling yourself that's my friend. She was just having a bad day. That's my boo thing. He ain't text you back. He ain't called you. That ain't my boo. This Negro playing games. And if he playing game, I ain't got time for games. I don't have. I'm too y'all. I don't like to say I'm too old, but I'm too valuable to sit back and be put on punishment by some dude that ain't got mad and he decided I ain't gonna talk to her today. I ain't gonna text her back. Try that stuff with me. Try to mess with me and see what happened. And see what happened. You will find out. You be like, that girl's a cold piece of work. No, I've been cut for this. I have been disciplined for this. God has got me to that space where I had to learn that the life here on earth is temporary, and what I do with my time it matters, right? So I can't sow seeds in foolishness because I don't want to reap that stuff. I'm not going to sow seeds in that. And so if you want to play games, you have to go get another girl who is immature enough to host your games that can play games with you. And y'all can play games together. But I'm grown over here. I'm grown. I like communication. I love it when people communicate with me. I love it. I love it. It rolls my dice. All right. Repeatedly acknowledge to yourself the roles that each person plays in your life. So stop telling yourself that's my cousin. Yeah, that's my cousin, but she not my friend. That's my cousin. She don't care anything about me. The only time I hear from her, like I got a relative that I immediately think about that. This is back in the day or what have you. I am not giving the benediction yet, sir. I love you though. You're cute, but but I got this cousin that she used to see me around town, even when I was working at Walmart. She literally did not speak to me. Literally, every time she would see me, I would see her out, and she would walk by me with her head in the air, and I would have to call her name. And sometimes she would ignore me. Other times she'd go, or she'll say, hey. Every once in a blue moon, she'll say, hey, cousin. Every once in a blue. But for the most part, 95% of the time when I saw her, she would not even acknowledge me. She would not even acknowledge me, which means I didn't have a relationship with her. It's fine. It was not one of those things that I'm, crying about or anything like that. But I noticed one thing. When she needed something, she'd be like, Cuzzo, you looking pretty. What's up with you, Cuzzo? Every time. I noticed that. My mom hit me up one day, and my mom was like, hey, your cousin needs this. I ran into her. I told her you could help her with this. I was like, Mama, you shouldn't have gave her my information. She was like, but that's your family. I'm like, Mama, that girl don't have nothing to do with me. Y'all, I let this child in my house. See, because when people are treating you bad, they're already letting you know that they don't have the character. Now, prayerfully, she's different now, but I was married at the time. I let this child in my house. Um, and I let her come and get on my computer, because she was trying to apply for a job. I let her come and get on my computer, and my computer was in my bedroom. Now, my bedroom, I had a canopy bed with the little sheer curtains and stuff like that. Oh, for whatever reason, I thought that was cute. I had the little sheer curtains, gold, with black and gold, sheer, lacy, pretty curtains and all that. I had a really unique bedroom. Okay, it was Oriental. I had a really unique bedroom. She comes up in there. My ex, he's sit at the time we were still married. He's sitting on the table. He's sitting on the bed on the other side of the bed, and he's watching television. He's just sitting there, and I'm at the computer, and I'm helping her, fill in all this stuff and stuff like that, knowing that this girl don't speak to me. This girl ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm sitting over there, and I'm helping her. This child gets up when it's over. She said, "Thank you, cuz." She said, "I like this bed." Now, the man is sitting right there. The curtains are open, you know. And he turned around. You can tell she's trying to get his attention. She grabs a hold of the bed and starts grinding. I can do some things in this bed. That's why you don't let everybody in your house. See, I didn't have to necessarily set a boundary because she made that boundary clear that she didn't want to have nothing to do with me. But then when I sat back and I allowed my mom to do that, I went against that. And sure enough, I'm sitting here, I'm like, and she kept doing it until he looked. I can do some things in this bed. Looked at him. I was like, ooh, ooh, nice talk. Let's get you out the door. Let's get you out the door. And whenever you're dealing with an ungodly guy, or when you're dealing with a guy, period, a lot of times a guy will straight tell you. And when I got out the door, she was left went home. My ex, he was sitting there, he said, "Your cousin a hoe." He was like, "He told your cousin a hoe." Oh, what happened? Now, she may be different now. That was well over 20 something years ago. She may be good and godly and saved now. I don't know. But you have to acknowledge to yourself the roles that every person plays. You got to say, hey, that's not good. I could gaslight myself and say she didn't mean anything by it. I could gaslight myself. I've done that before. I can gaslight myself and say, I've had friends in my house when I was married to this dude. Oh, I don't know what it was about him. He was a really good looking guy. He brought out the worst in women. I have friends. I'm just like, why are you crawling around on the floor like a cat? Tiffany, this is how you be crawling for him, don't you? And I'm like, he's sitting there looking. He just look at me. Your friend's a hoe. And I'm like, good God, where I got all these people? But you have to acknowledge yourself. I had to acknowledge that's not my friend on that floor. That ain't my friend. This girl here, and I'm one of those people that I'm genuinely not insecure at all. When it comes to a relationship, I'm probably the most secure person you'll ever meet. I genuinely don't think a lot of times other people have to point out what I don't see. I am genuinely a secure person, but I'm saying sometimes some people it just brings out the worst in them, and you put a man, especially a good looking man, around broken women. A lot of times it brings out the worst in them, especially if they feel like how she pulled him. I think I can get him. I think I should be able to get him. And you sit in your house looking like, wow, I've never seen your tickle bitties before. Why'd you come over to my house wearing a push-up bra and your shirt down? I ain't never seen you in that. You're in raw form. Okay. Okay, now I ain't gonna overthink that. You're in raw form. Oh, bending over much. Okay. All right, let's move from there. Let's move from there. Number 9, change your phone number and an email address. This is important. Nobody should be able to access you in the place that they left you. Your phone number should not be this. If I date you and we break up, I'm probably gonna change my phone number. You ain't gonna freely call me. No, you don't have a right. And it was an every no. But you don't have a right. If I'm just sitting here thinking about myself, what if she had called that girl a real name? But I would have been falling out of my chair. You don't have a right If we're no longer together, you can't access me. Those features or that came with a membership. When you're not paying your club dues, you don't have access. You can't just come whenever you want to and say, guess I'll give me a workout in today. Guess I'll get me a workout in. I guess I'll call Tiffany. No, some of you're too easy to access. Who am I talking to? You're too easy to access. You say it is that because you love her. No, it's because you live by your feelings and you like feeling like he actually does care. He no, I live by the belief if you care, we wouldn't have broke up. I forgive you. I ain't tripping, but if you cared, if we both cared, we would still be together. That's just how I live. I believe that. So he does not care. He does not care. He's living his life. He's doing his own thing. That's fine. That's his life. I'm gonna live my life. I forgive him. He forgive me. Let's move on. Hey, if I see you in the street, what's up? I'll joke with you, but you don't have the right to email me, to contact me whenever you feel like it. So y'all not admitting, but I'm telling you, this is how you get free. You got to stop letting your exes and people just randomly reappear in your life. That's not how you live life. They just randomly reappear. They just decide, you know what? Now, I would change my phone number. Blocking doesn't do anything because what people do is when they decide they want to communicate you, they can get a Google Voice line or they'll go get themselves a new phone number. And unstable people are always changing their phone number, and they'll have all their contacts transferred over to the phone. No, no, no. And this is why I tell people that's what keeps me from mass dating, right? I had the same number for 7 years. My Florida number, even when I came to Georgia, I had that number for a total of 7 years. The number that I have now, I've had for a total of about 5 years. Why? Because ain't no dude got this phone number. Now, this one dude that had the number, I didn't date him. My friend girl tried to hook me up with him. We talked. I told him the first day I wasn't his wife. When I heard he had an issue with the church, I told him I'm not your wife. That was a couple of years ago. Um, he got argumentative. He was like, "What are you talking about? I just met you." I'm like, I get it, I understand, but she introduced us in the context of us potentially, building a relationship, a romantic relationship. So I'm just making sure that I annihilate that end of the thing, so that there's no expectation on that end. Now, you say you want to work with me, okay? I can help you. I can help you in that area, but I don't. We're not gonna have anything else beyond that. That joker wouldn't let that go. And for about 3 days, he kept calling. I had to tell him, "You're gonna have to lose my number. You're gonna have to lose my number." I blocked him because we never had anything. We never had anything. I blocked him. But if I build a relationship with a person and it's a romantic relationship, if we're building and that person has my phone number and that person, I've had a soul tie with that person, I'm not gonna allow that person to have ready access to me because they can catch me when I'm vulnerable. Y'all gotta hear that. That you gotta hear that. He can catch me when I'm vulnerable. He can catch me when I'm down. He can catch me when I'm missing him. He can catch me when I'm going one, and I don't need that. So I'm protecting myself. The Bible says, guard your heart. I'm gonna guard it by paying that $10 to change my phone number. And I'll just send a text message out to everybody else that I want to have it. And I'll make sure those are mutually connected to him or they may know him. Do not give my phone number to him. Do not give my phone number to him. Period. Point blank. So change your phone number and your email address. Get you a different email address. I would say you don't have to always change your email address. I can say definitely block the person, but if that person has a pull on you, it's always a good idea to get yourself a new email address. Number 10, find a good church to use your gift in. I have gifts. My gifts are for the kingdom of God. I love using my gifts at my church. That I can freely give and not feel like I got to put a price tag or anything. I love that. And I realize this is probably one of the most important ones. You're gifted for the kingdom. When you are able to give your gift, remember I told you, we love giving more than anything. When you have that gift, I love giving. Now I'm free to give to my church. I'm free to utilize, and I work for the kingdom. Anyhow, I got a seal and logo company. Um, I do selling logos for ministries. I do book publishing, all of that. But when it comes down to my church, what have you? I can do for the kingdom. I can do for my church. Now, when I say the kingdom, I'm not saying everybody. So don't think you say I got a ministry, Tiffany. I sure need a logo. I got a whole company. I got a whole company that you would have to come. I had that company for well over 10 years, so you would have to place an order. But I have the freedom of expression. This is why I tell y'all to volunteer. There's freedom in that, and there's a flesh dying process in the beginning of it. But I have the freedom to give, so I don't feel any conviction if I'm doing something for my church. I don't feel uh used, or I do feel used, but not a bad type of used by God. That's what I feel, and I love that feeling. That's the only type of using you should be dealing with. I just gave y'all a million. I just gave y'all $1 million revelation. I just gave you a million. Use that gift for the kingdom. You say I got a gift of love, and I'm always forgiving. We need you at the altar of church. We need you walking around the building. We need you on the ministry team. You are needed because you know that the church got some crazy folks that come up in there. There are some broken folks that come up in there, and they need that. They need that because not everybody's grace to deal with them. Not everybody's grace to deal with them. You use your gift in a kingdom environment. That way the devil is not using it. That way the devil is not using it. So whatever gift you have, use it for your church. So number 9 was change your phone number. Number 8 was repeatedly acknowledge to yourself the roles that each person plays in your life. Number 9 was change your phone number and your email address. Number 10, find a good church to use your gift in. Find a good church to use your gift in. And don't go in there talking about some, I do flyers, and your pastor say, well, how much? $50. No. When it comes to your church, I would never ask my church for money. It's weird to me. Any leader in my life that I'm benefiting from, I would never ask for money. I just wouldn't. It's not even in me to think like that. I'd be like, oh, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Um, I love being a blessing, and I realize that now I have the freedom to be a blessing without the conviction. I don't know who that helped. I have the freedom of being a blessing without feeling like that girl just took advantage of me again. Dang, I feel stupid. No, I don't have to do that with her. I put up a boundary with her. But when it comes down, and I'm not saying you can't give to people, I'm saying that you have to put a boundary on your giving. Okay, this is a one-time event, what have you. And if I see that this person don't never do nothing for me, then I ain't gonna be constantly doing for her. We ain't gonna have no one-sided relationship. We just not doing that. Find a good church to use your gift in. Number 11. Number 12, I'm gonna read number 12, and then I'm gonna make this number 11, and I'm gonna switch them up. Volunteer somewhere. So that includes church, or you can volunteer some home, like a soup kitchen. Use your gift. You have the gift of charity? Use it. You need it. If you're not using it, you're gonna always keep giving it away to the wrong people. See, if I'm at a soup kitchen, these people don't know me. They coming in, they getting their food, God, and I can love on them. I ain't got to deal with familiarity. Hey, how are you? God bless you. Oh, you're good. God's gonna, God's gonna do this great thing in your life. God, I can prophesy. I can do all that stuff, and then I can let them go home. The love of Jesus, I love you. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. So volunteer somewhere. This is where you use your gift. Now, doing that, you have to get over your flesh because your flesh don't want to volunteer. My flesh don't like schedules. I can tell you about this stuff right here. It don't like schedules. I like to do stuff basically, okay, I feel like doing this today, but that's not how life goes. Life is structured. So I have to get over it, right? I have to get over it, but volunteer, use that gift where it's needed. When you start volunteering places and you see that you're helping people, you will get so excited. You will get so excited because now you have the opportunity to exercise that gift. Now you have the opportunity to use it in a healthy environment, right? Now you get a chance to see your gift producing fruits. If you don't do that, you will use it on the people around you, and people got entitlement. A lot of times they're dealing with, like I said, um, they're dealing with survivors, and they're in survivors mode. And survivors mode will make people just keep on being like, "You got $5." Some folks be acting like crackheads. I've had people, I've been like, are you on drugs? I'm like, on drugs? Every time you see him, girl, you got this. Sis, you good? You good? All right. Number 12. This is the last one. This is the last one. Y'all ready? Y'all gotta love me in the morning. Okay, before I give you this one, I'm gonna need y'all. How many of you can say you have this gift, the gift of charity, that compels you to give? How many of you say you got this gift? Because I'm gonna help you. It's gonna be this is not practical advice. When I'm about to give you number 12, it's not practical. It's gonna bless your life though. Okay, it's gonna bless your life. Okay, there we go. Praise God. Praise God. All right, I'm letting y'all populate over there. I just kind of get you ready. I like to get you ready. See, I'm just making sure you get ready. This is the lube. This is the lube moment. This is the lube. Okay, I'm getting you ready. I'm getting you ready. All right. I'm getting you ready. Okay, okay. Here's number 12. Here's number 12. You ready? Okay. I see a lot of y'all are of the Negro persuasion. So I'm gonna need y'all because it's gonna be one of those things that's a challenge for somebody. I'm just being funny, but get yourself a pet. I said it was gonna be practical. Get yourself a pet. You need something to love. You ain't got no man. Get yourself a pet. Trust me, they will take all your time. Get yourself a pet. Go to the why I say you have the Negro persuasion, because a lot of black folks are scared of animals, or you don't have the right attitude as it relates to animals. I'm scared. Me talking about some grandma come over to your house, but I'm scared of dogs. Well, you can't come to my house because I'm not about to let you traumatize my dog. You're just not gonna come over here and be like, get him out of here. And the whole time he trying to give you love. You just not gonna be flipping over stuff and breaking stuff, and they gotta carry you out on the stretcher just because my dog walked over to you. No, no, I'm not putting him away. I'm not putting him away. I would say get into a place where you can get a pet. But I'm telling you right now, getting a pet will help you in choosing a guy. One of the things when you have a pet, what it does, what it does is a lot of times you start thinking not just from yourself, but from the perspective of your pet. I would never want to bring a man in. Right, you have to have a place to deposit your love. That is good. That's good. I would never want to bring a man in that I'm afraid that would hurt my pet. Like if you come to my house, achoo, girl, oh God, oh, I'm allergic to your dog. I'm allergic to you. I would never feel okay because I would be afraid that I'm putting him in harm's way. I'll be afraid that I'm putting him where he could potentially be. I love my baby. That's my baby. That's my baby. That's my baby. Go to the animal shelter. That's the best place to get a pet. Because at the animal shelter, especially a kill shelter, where they were going to kill them, there's a love that you will have for that pet, knowing that they were going to kill that pet. Get yourself a cat, a dog, or something. And for those of you who would say, I got allergies, I got the dog home and I started sneezing, trust me, get you some Benadryl. I was allergic to Milo in the beginning, but my body adjusted. I was like, I was taking medicine. I'm like, you're going to have to adjust because I ain't getting rid of my baby. Yeah, a kill shelter is an animal shelter where if a dog or a cat is not adopted in time, they're going to kill it. Yeah, a cat or a dog. Let me say when it comes to pets, do a temperament check, because not all pets fit your temperament. For example, don't get caught up in I want a Siberian Husky. I had one of those, and they go listen. You need to be skinny. You need to be athletic. You need some property where they can. Don't go get yourself no Siberian Husky, because they will tear your house to pieces. A Siberian Husky will take your living room set and chew the heck out of it. I'm talking about you come home from work, your couch will be dug out. Your whole house will be buried. If you don't believe me, go on YouTube and type in Siberian Husky destroy. I guarantee you'll find videos. They are known for that. Different types of dogs have different temperaments. Different types of dogs have different temperaments. So it's always good to research your temperament. And then two, please hear me. Dogs are like kids. You're gonna have to die to yourself when you first get them, because in the beginning you may want to get rid of them because you're no longer, they're gonna start changing your life, and you're not gonna like it in the beginning. You'll love the hug, the snuggly times, and hey, you're such a good baby. You'll love that time. You didn't get triggered. But you'll love that time. But the time, like me having to constantly take him out to the bathroom, me having to say don't do that, or the frustrating part when you love your pet is you're always trying to keep them safe. Always trying to keep. I'll say this one time, I take vitamins and I have gummies, and gummies are dangerous to pets. And a head stretch, but gummies are dangerous to pets. I was in my bedroom before I go to bed in the morning, because I typically go to bed in the morning. I always get my vitamins, and I'm taking my vitamins and what have you. And I dropped one of my gummies on the carpet. You have no idea. I couldn't find that joker. I wasn't going to bed without it, because he'll find it. He a dog. He got that sense. He will find it. So I'm looking. I'm talking about. I'm looking high and low. I go get my phone. I cut the light on. I got the light on in the bedroom. I'm just scanning the carpet. I'm looking high and low for that gummy, and I think I found it in one of the drawers. I think it fell into one of the drawers or what have you. But I'm saying I looked high and low for that gummy. Yeah, anybody that has a pet comparison to kids, they are very much like kids. They are very much like kids. Get yourself a pet. Right. And you do, and that's another thing. You'll feel guilty leaving to go to work. I feel guilty when I have to go to church. I don't feel guilty so much, but I don't like it. When it's time for me to go and it's time to go to church, and he goes and puts himself away. He gives me that look and what have you, or he stands in front of me and he just tries to block me. I'm like, oh, poor sweet baby. But let me say this: when you get yourself a pet, you have to get the pet with an understanding that I'm not taking them back, because I don't want y'all to go get one and try it. And don't do that. Don't go get a dog. Tiffany, I tried, but my selfishness, I couldn't get past it. I just couldn't. I had a friend that did that, and I was so annoyed with her. We got that cat acclimated to her, and the cat got on her nerves after a while. She was just like, I just had to surrender him to the shelter, and I was like, why? I just didn't have times. Cats don't require times. A cat you can leave at home. They really don't care. Dogs, on the other hand, will make you feel three shades of guilty for leaving them at home, but cats really don't care. You walking out the door, they'll look at you and be like, "Good riddance." But when you have that gift, you have to find you find a place to give that love to. I got Milo 8 years ago. No, they don't care at all. They don't care. They don't care. They just want their space. Your dog had you sleep for 2 weeks. Right? They'll have you freaked out. They go crazy at night. Oh Lord. I haven't had one for many, many years, since I was a kid, actually. Since I was a kid. But I used to love, love, love having a cat. I've thought about getting another one. Milo has a temperament where he would be okay, but my concern is that the cat wouldn't be okay. The cat would be up there hitting my poor baby. Hit my sweet baby. I took him to I had him registered on, it was, I don't know what the site was before, Rover. But I had him registered, and there was a lady who used to babysit him. I got on the site whenever I went out of town. And I'll never forget the first time I went to her house. It was two cats sitting outside. And I'm getting out my vehicle with Milo, and one of the cats just so calmly got up, walked over to Milo, and I'm like, and I know Milo's not gonna do anything. I know Milo's, he's just a sweet baby. And the cat came up, stuck his head out. Milo sniffed the cat sniffed Milo. And then the cat went back and laid back down. I said, okay, come on, security. You gonna come and he did a little check on Milo, made sure Milo was good, like you good people. Because at this house, we don't play that dog versus cat crap. When we were leaving, when I came back a couple of days later, I was walking Milo out. The cat was laying by the door. The cat didn't budge. The cat just looked at Milo, had no fear. He tested Milo, made sure Milo was cool. What have you? Your prayer journal. Where can I get my prayer journal created? I would say go through a publishing company. I have one. But go through a publishing company and You have to decide if you want hardcover or paperback. You have to decide if you want hardcover or paperback. You can get both, but it just be an additional fee. But I would say go through a publishing company. And the reason I don't say do it yourself is because a lot of people choose that option. If you don't know how to properly format it, you don't want to kill your book. But I would say go through a publishing company. So get yourself a pet. Yeah, that cat said we test fruits over here. He walked. That moment is etched in my memory. That cat just got his little tail up, walked over to Milo, stuck his head out. Milo stuck his head out. They sniffed each other, and then the cat just turned around and walked right back. You pray with your dog before you leave. I need to start doing it. I pray over Milo, but I never pray with him. I pray over him. I plead the blood of Jesus over him. Lord, give him peace. All of that. And even if I'm going to be gone for a long time, like when I'm going to church, I would typically play one of my videos. I got that from another a pet specialist. I don't remember. But I play videos and stuff like that so he can hear my voice. I play music or what have you. So or what have you. But get yourself a pet. Get yourself a pet. That will help you tremendously. Get yourself a pet. Now, I'm not saying that if you happen to be a quitter because you can't keep doing that. I'm saying don't get yourself a pet and then just get rid of it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't get a pet and then get rid of it because you got tired and it was getting on your flesh. It was getting on your nerves. Because at the end of the day, I get relatively with Milo. When I first got Milo, and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna let y'all go. When I first got Milo, in the beginning of any relationship with any pet, there are challenges. The first 6 months with Milo, it was fun. He's always been a good puppy. He was pretty much, I don't know, the Lord house broke him. Because when I got him, even though he was 8 weeks old, he didn't use the bathroom in the house a whole lot. He had 4 accidents in the house when he was a kid, when he was a puppy. And maybe it was because too, I used to take him out all the time. Me working from home, I would always readily take him outside. But when I first got him, that dog took me through it. When he got to the teenage stage, when he got to the teenage dog puberty at about, was he 6 months or 9 months old? I don't remember. Up in that state, he took me through it. He took me through it. Because what he did was when I was living in Florida, I lived upstairs in this apartment. And I would take him out. I was working overnight, so I would take him out in the middle of the night, before I went to bed or what have you. I would take him out. But typically, I wouldn't go down the stairs. So what I would do was he's always been good at coming back. So I would just open the door. I would stand there and I let him go down the stairs and I let him use the bathroom and let him come back up. He had been good for it. Like every night, he would just go down there, squat, do his little pee pee thing, and then he come right back up. Bro man had a moment one day. He had a moment where he went down the stairs, and he's big dog. He's about the same. He's the size he is now. Goes down the stairs, comes halfway up the stairs. I'll never forget this. He comes halfway up the stairs, and he stops. I'm standing. And he just stops. He looks at me. I look at him, and I picked up with it. I said, "Don't you dare! Don't you dare!" Took off down the stairs. I'm in a nightgown. It's 4 a.m. It's dark. It's Florida, the land of the pervs. I got to go downstairs in a nightgown and catch a 60-pound dog. Y'all don't even know. But those type of memories, they're funny, but they weren't funny at that time. I had to go down the stairs and chase this joker. I had a lake in front of my apartment, and then behind my apartment was the parking lot. This dude runs around the apartment. Now I'm out at 4 a.m. with a gown on, chasing the dog. And this happened on 2 or 3 occasions. 2 or 3 occasions it happened. Every time, I'm short. Milo's about my height. I had to carry that joker back like this. I'm wobbling trying to carry him back to the house. The last time it happened, he did it again. He went downstairs, he peed, and he came upstairs. He got right up to the top step. Right when he was getting ready to stop, top step, he stopped and he just looked at me. I said, no, 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 no. He took off. I said, crap. And I knew then. I went down the stairs, if I remember this right. I went down the stairs, tried to catch him while we were in front of the apartment. He wouldn't. Then I saw him running out to the parking lot. He could easily get lost, you know. So I rushed up the stairs. I grabbed my car keys. I realized he likes going for a ride. Let me trick him into thinking he's going for a ride. So I get my keys. I go out to the parking lot. This is the one time I did spank Milo. I'm not gonna lie. He don't get spankings, but that was the one time I spanked his tail. I was so mad. I was so mad. I go out there, I get my keys, I go out into the parking lot, and he's running. I'm like, come here. I'm trying everything. I'm yelling at him. That ain't working. I'm trying everything. So finally, I opened my car door. I said, "You want to go for a ride? You want to go for a ride? Come on." He was hesitant, but finally he go run. He jump in the passenger side. He jumped in through the driver's side and he went into the passenger side. Then I went close the door on the driver's side. And when I did, I had to open the passenger side, put my body so he couldn't jump out. And y'all don't know how far that was away from my apartment. You don't know how far I had to carry that joker. You don't know how far I had to carry that 60-something pound dog. You don't even know. I had to carry him at 4 in the morning wearing a gown each time. 4 in the morning. And try carrying a 60-pound dog up the stairs. No, I didn't have a collar on him because he was a house dog. I got in the house. I was like, "Yo, do that." After that, I felt bad. I was like, "No, I'm not going to do that to him." But from that point on, I had to learn. I had to learn. I had to start going down the stairs with him. I had to keep him on the leash until he got out of that stage. Until he got out of the stage. I'm saying that to say that's not a sign that you need to get rid of your dog. If you get a dog and they eat up your shoes, that's a sign that you need to put your shoes up. Because that's what depending on what type of dog, I'm just telling you, don't go get a pet and they get mad because they will destroy your stuff. Thankfully, he's not a destroyer. But I have had pets that were destroyers and stuff like that. So don't go get a pet and then get frustrated and then get rid of it. All right. I pray that you guys were blessed by this. I pray you were blessed by my story time, the whole nine, and you know how to set boundaries. Like I said, use your gift for the church. That's what it's for. Take your gift to church and use it for the church, and you'll find freedom in that. But don't let people keep taking advantage of you. And I think it's important that I mention this. If you don't set boundaries, God can't bless you the way He wants to bless you because you're going to bless the wrong people. God blesses you when He sees that you are open to the right people, but closed off to the wrong ones. God will never give you more than you can bear. And God knows that if you sit up there and you give to the wrong folk, they kill you dead. Okay? They kill you dead. God knows that. And God, if He sees that, hey, if I bless you with 7 million, you're going to let these people take advantage of you, God won't give you 7 million. If God says, I want to give you 6 figures, I want to give you 7 figures, but you got people around you, and God knows that you're going to sit up there and be like, I got you. God won't give it to you because you're not guarding your gift. And so God will protect you by allowing you to continue to make $20,000 a year. That's God's protection, is that God has to limit you so that you won't be taken advantage of. But like I said, if you put your gift in the right place, you go utilize your gift at church, volunteer some places and stuff like that, put some boundaries around people, then you become a blessing. And you become a blessing, and that's a great feeling to be. You'll become a blessing, a great feeling to have. But you'll become a blessing, and then you give God the ability to bless you. And God will bless you because you're pouring out, and He'll pour back in. I love it. I'm about to go. I shall talk to you guys on Wednesday, maybe. I'll talk to you guys later. All right. Bye bye. See? Benediction.